Yo, people, what's going on? Is the KDG on Eagle Talks Football, and we got some questions for you. Is Kevin De Bruyne a big game player? Canada are out, and should they be still proud of their first ever World Cup goal, their first World Cup in like 20, 30 years actually? Costa Rica shocked Japan. Did Japan flop and mess up, or was it just Costa Rica were never really that bad? It's just Spain are that good. And Morocco, wow, the scenes, the absolute scenes in euphoria. Bro, Gunnar Souls, you must have loved it. Just seeing it as a Muslim brother yourself.
Yeah, man. So you know what it is? I've got this thing in it where I want Messi to win the World Cup or England. Then it's like any Muslim nation to win it. That's like what my sort of go-to scenarios are. Um, and then it's like any club players I represent. But you know what, man? Like Morocco, it's a good. They needed to represent. It's been a long time since they've done something big, and I feel like what an up. The question's got to become: is it an upset or is it something that we small, even if it's a small percentage, we kind of expected?
Bro, it is an upset because we have our friend Hamza here who said verbatim on the stream he sits on the same chair with Zidane, Xavi, Iniesta, Luis Figo, and what does he do? The biggest flop job in Kevin De Bruyne's career history. The man, you can't protect him no more, Hamza. Hamza, you can't protect him. Hamza, you
I have
cannot
to.
protect him.
I
The
have to.
guy today, Hamza, you cannot protect him. You can't blame Hazard. You can't blame other people. The
Courtois.
mentality with Kevin De Bruyne and the Belgium team is terrible.
No, no,
They
no.
said,
Why did you know what? You were right until you used Hazard.
Hazard.
no, I
Until
Hazard
you
said,
and
said Hazard,
Courtois.
I was with you.
I said you can't blame Hazard.
You can.
No, you
Have
have
you
to.
No,
seen
I
him?
said
You have to.
today you gotta blame
You
Kevin De
have to.
Bruyne. Hazard, we already know Hazard. Let's be honest.
No.
Hazard had his
Okay.
time. This is Kevin De Bruyne's team now. This
No,
is
no,
Kevin De
but
Bruyne's
equal.
team.
Football is 11 men. Let's say, for example, you take out Gabriel Partey from Arsenal. You're struggling. You take out one player like Saka out your game, or Jesus, or Saliba, you're finished. The thing is, he carries the whole Belgium team. I feel sorry for him. And and there's certain players, I have to tell you something, and that's why I've always educated people. Zidane would have never won the World Cup if he didn't have the great team. And I'll go back to Zidane. Why? Because I regard him as the greatest midfielder of all time. And if you look at the team he had Fabian Barthez, one of the greatest keeper ever. He was a brilliant keeper. He had Lilian Thuram, right? Lilian
Huh?
Thuram, one of the greatest centre back. Beat that. Vicente Lizarazu was playing at Bayern Munich, was one of the second best left back in the world. Second best left back. So, and then you got Patrick Vieira, Emmanuel Petit. You had Didier Deschamps. Didier Deschamps playing at Juventus. How can you blame De Bruyne when he looks at the back and he looks at two frauds, Ventogen and Alderweireld still playing? He looks on the right, he sees Castagna. He looks on the left, he just sees who plays left back for them. It's crap. And then you got Hazard. He cannot even finish. Let me tell you, that boy is a criminal. He's a criminal. And the only people that protect him are Chelsea. The Real Madrid have thrown him under the basket, girl. Real Madrid have said he's a fraud. We wasted 100. He's a big. Yes. Did you lose me there?
No.
Listen,
We lost you
Hazard.
several times. But Jay has some stuff
Okay.
playing in the background. Jay, just I'll keep you muted until you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, you're ready
Okay.
now?
I'm good.
Okay.
What's going on, boys?
Good, doing well. Hamza's on a soliloquy talking about how
No.
Kevin De Bruyne has his team
So
to
Hey,
play,
you
not
know,
him.
you know what's happening right now?
and
You know,
I'm
all the
giving.
Hazard fanboys are messing with your internet, by the way.
Yeah. Let me try and restart this. The frauds. 1 second.
Okay, yeah. Just try to restart it. By the way, Hamza just gave a soliloquy for 3 minutes long about why you have to blame the teammates, and it's 11 men. Bro, you're on mute, Jay. You're on mute.
All right, that's it. Some people will say that's the most sense that I've made this year. So the how we
Nah,
doing,
Jay,
boys?
it's good to have you on, bro.
It's good. How we doing, boys?
Honestly, today is a
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne questioning session. There's a
let
lot
me.
of other games that we got to talk about. But
Yeah.
first things first, this Belgium golden generation. They're
Okay,
being
listen.
compared.
I feel De Bruyne was defeated even coming into this tournament. Some of the comments that I've heard him say are kind of ridiculous for a leading player. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, he was saying that the squad is aging. I've never heard a player talk about the team like that when they come in. Like, hey, our squad shit. We missed our chance. That's how he's talking. So to me, there's no oomph with KDB this tournament. There's no I'm gonna drag the team through this. And I'm gonna be honest, he's look at the players he's got around him compared to him. Look at where they were 4 years ago, and he's gone like that. Yeah. All the other players have gone like that. And it gets to a point when you've got Hazard's captain. Yeah. Listen, Hazard has been one of the worst signings for Real Madrid ever. He clearly isn't able to impact top-level games at the highest level anymore. You've got to look at defenders like Vertonghen, Alderweireld. 2 years ago, Spurs said these guys aren't good enough to play for a team that was finishing 6th, 7th in the Premier League. But now these players are expected to be good enough to win the World Championships against loads of young, up-and-coming whippersnap. It's just not feasible. And Martinez as well has to take a lot of blame for not evolving this side. Yeah? He is still playing people like Batshuayi. You have Trossard. You have Keleta at Milan. You have players, Doku even, that you blooded at the last tournament who look good. You have young players that you should have given a chance to. Even the Leicester centre-back. Yeah? Why is Faiz not playing? For what reason is the Leicester centre-back not playing? Do you see what I mean? I'm just like Mounier. These are the same. It's like, honestly, it's even like if you talk about Spurs.
So are you blaming the coach, not the players?
I'm saying it's a mixture of reasons, but it's exacerbated by bad decision making. If you make bad decisions, you're going to exacerbate the problem. You've got players that have failed. Yeah. You've got players that have failed repeatedly for this team. I'm not talking about KDB, who dragged them back through by their bootstraps when they played Brazil in the last tournament. I'm talking about players that have shown that they're not good enough. When they lost 3-1 to Wales, there's a number of players in this squad that should have been phased out. Yeah? And they didn't do that. So they're going to have the same rebuild that France and Spain and all these other countries had when they reached the end of the line, because they just didn't. And someone just sort of said it nicely just then. If you don't evolve the talent that you've got, you basically allow the players that you've got to say failure is acceptable. You don't need to win, and we will still pick you. You don't need to get to the finals, and you will still make the squads. And I think once you've been in that environment for a while, and you've got Martinez, same voice, same noise, you've got what you're happening now. You've got the law of diminishing returns. Every time they go to a tournament, they come back with less. They deliver less. And it's a shame, but a lot of these top players for Belgium, they do not look bothered. The mistakes Courtois making, the performances KDB's putting in, they wouldn't do this for their clubs. That's from the top. They don't care. Like, let's be honest, these players don't care.
They don't do it for the clubs.
I think that's unfair. They definitely
don't. They don't. They don't.
I don't mean they don't care as in they're just going out and giving up. I'm saying in terms of, I saw an interview with Kevin De Bruyne and his wife was talking about a game he was watching from City and he was throwing bottles and he was really angry and stuff like that. I think from the top level down, there's an apathy. There's an apathy around this Belgium team, and they're resigned that they're not good enough to do what people want. And for some of these players, the sooner they go home, the better.
Hazard. Let's talk about Hazard.
One second, before you do that, there's a quick question. What does Hamza think about Thierry Henry being their assistant coach? I think that's irrelevant, but
he's not. He hasn't proved anything to be an assistant coach, but because of the great player he is, he's respected. But At the end of the day, I would have loved someone with experience, company, whatever it is, who've experienced at managerial level, but they don't have that. And at least someone who's Belgium could have understood that. Listen, when you have constant failures, let me go through it. There was a time at Spain. They were building on Raúl, Morientes, Ivan Helguera, Fernando Hierro. They decided, forget that shit. We'll start from beginning. I remember that. They dropped Raúl. It was a big shock. They dropped Morientes. And they said, yo, we're building on Xavi, this young boy, Iniesta. We'll bring this Fernando Torres and David Villa. They were little kids from Valencia. We'll take this boy from Valencia called David Silva. And they built the core there. Look at that. And they decided we're dropping that old mentality because we failed with them. And you know what? It worked. It got them the European Championship and it got them the World Cup. And guess what? They had to go through the change again when they lost against Netherlands 5-1. Xavi and Iniesta were on the pitch. They were on the pitch, but they were too old. They said, yo, we have to let them go. You have to rebuild again. Belgium have failures in their football club. And there's one particular failure who he's a boy who strolls around. He's got talent, Hazard. He's gone there to Real Madrid, 140 million pounds. 140 million. He failed. Real Madrid fans will tell you he's the biggest failure in Real Madrid history.
One second. We know what he is for Real Madrid. Everything you're saying is 100% right. But going into the tournament, going into the tournament, this is not Hazard's team. This is Kevin De Bruyne's team.
Okay.
Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Everyone here agrees, right?
Yeah,
this is Kevin De Bruyne's team.
I disagree.
But who's got the captaincy?
Disagree.
Who's got the captaincy? Who's got the captaincy? Who's got the captaincy in your club? Imagine when you had Obama at your club as a captain, what did he lead you to? Failure. You failed. So imagine Hazard. He's got the captaincy. He can't even last 60 minutes. He can't last 60 minutes. He's a failure in Belgium. Other than 2018, it was Kevin De Bruyne that dragged him in Brazil. He scored the winning goal to knock out Brazil.
You don't feel like this is an excuse?
No, he's not. And you can see that De Bruyne does it for his club. So he's the only winner there. The rest are losers. Lukaku can't do it at Inter Milan.
Lukaku won the league at Inter.
No, where is he now? No. Where is it now? I'll talk about now. What's Lukaku doing for Inter? Nothing.
Okay.
What's Hazard doing for them? What's Aldo? There you are.
Hamza, I'm going to stop you there for a second. Guys, is this an excuse? Gunnar Souls, do you think this is an excuse or valid points that the rest of the team are not carrying the load?
No, do you know what it is? I'm not even going to blame the team. I'm blaming solely on the manager because he's got talent on his bench. Look at it. Even as bad as Leicester have been, Tielemans has been performing. He's been getting goals for them. He's been a creative outlet for them. He's been a better midfielder than Witzel's been. I get tournament football, and I understand this sort of sentimental approach that national teams have in terms of even England. We do it, but sometimes you got to get over that and go. You know what, Witzel? When's the last time we've heard his name? A very long time ago. You've got to bring Yuri Tielemans, who's in form. This is a tournament. This is tournament football where you're only going to get a few chances to progress. You've got to play your informed players. You can't have a better bench than your starting 11, and that's the problem they're having. Is look at Trossard. Why isn't Trossard playing? Eden Hazard hasn't played football in over 2 seasons, and you're playing this man. The man's known for eating burgers, not playing football right now. The guy's been overweight. You might as well have a raffle between Belgium, the whole country, and pick a man to play. That's just as good as what you're getting. You're getting a citizen. You're not getting a professional footballer right now. So I agree. I do understand where Hamza's coming from. And you know what? Kevin De Bruyne is not that player. And let me premise before Hamza jumps in and starts. What I'm saying is creative players and midfielders, such as your Odegaards, your Xavis, your Iniestas, even your Zidane, they're not game winners by per se, but what they are, they're the pre-game winners. So they're the ones who can get you over the line, but you need the other player to put it in the back of the net. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's not a diss at Kevin De Bruyne, but he can do everything for you. How many chances did he give Batshuayi in their last game, and he just didn't score? And that's the frustration. And I think De Bruyne knew what he was walking into. That's the only thing I will say is you probably shouldn't say it. As much as you feel like this team's too old to win, you shouldn't say it.
Exactly.
That's what given criticism for.
It's a defeatist mentality, almost like it's like you say, what can I do? what can I do? These guys, like you've got 36-year-old Jan Vertonghen. What the fuck am I meant to do?
He's preparing for failure.
Exactly.
That's the only thing I will criticize him for. But overall, this manager, like a lot of people have said, I'm not going to blame De Bruyne because let's be honest, if we're looking at that starting 11, all of us have agreed that there should have been changes to it.
You know what? I'm not gonna do the Twitter space thing, but the only reason why we're going at Kevin De Bruyne is because Hamza, you propped him up so big the other day. You put him in the same breath as Zidane, Iniesta, Xavi. Those guys.
Hold on. But I remember Zidane crashing out in a group stage. Like, as in, you might be too young to remember, but I remember Zidane and France crashing out in a group stage after winning the World Cup.
Yeah.
So
the
to
World
me,
Cup started because of them, though.
But he crashed out in the group stage. So anybody using the same ammunition against De Bruyne to say, he's a bottler and this and that, Zidane also had moments that he crashed out.
But Zidane won the Euros and the World Cup. This golden before he crashed out in 2020.
As somebody who watched Zidane, as somebody who watched Zidane and KDB, I think KDB was a better footballer than Zidane. I genuinely do. In terms of like consistency, in terms of overall player, like you can rub your face. Yeah, I know you didn't watch Zidane as a player.
No, you can't say that.
I'm telling you,
31 years old, bro.
Zidane as a player,
I watched Zidane.
Right. So at Real Madrid, and at Juventus, he wasn't even the main guy. He wasn't even the main guy.
No, like I'm talking about international. What he did.
Yeah, bro. He's a great player, but like I'm saying, like, bro, listen, people are like, KDB doesn't even sit with Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes.
No,
listen, that's like KDB is literally as good as any midfielder that's ever played in the Premier League.
No, Fabregas.
Yeah, but when you compare him to, enough about that. My main point is he hasn't delivered on the big stage. Let's be honest. We know about Belgium. We know about their whole stuff. Let's now look at the other side. Can we look at the beautiful side of things? Morocco. How beautiful was that for Morocco? How amazing scenes. Their third ever win.
No, hold on. Sorry. What was before? I'm getting a little bit cooked in the comments section here.
Yeah, because you said something ridiculous. You said
no. I did. Honestly, Zidane is it's like Drogba. Yeah, you wouldn't say Drogba's better than Henry. Yeah, but in those big moments, Drogba really stood up. Yeah, and that's the comparison I'm making.
Are you comparing Zidane to Drogba in this conversation?
No, I'm saying that Zidane had big moments, but De Bruyne is so much more consistent than Zidane was. So much more.
Okay, Mojo, welcome. By the way,
let Mojo
finish off this.
I love Zidane and KDB. Oh, there is a fraud. Chelsea. There you are. They have nothing to brag about.
Let Mojo finish off the Kevin De Bruyne conversation before we go into a Hazard conversation. Because today, Kevin De Bruyne and his Belgium team basically ended their World Cup hopes, in my opinion. They're pretty much, their chances of winning have gone significantly worse. So what are you saying?
And I'm not going to say that their World Cup hopes are completely over because let's be frankly honest, the World Cup's kind of unpredictable. But I don't know, man. Hamza, I understand, this guy is your GOAT and, you want to back him all the way till the end. But the fact that you're not sat here telling me that you're a bit shocked by his own comments. His own comments saying we're too old. His own comments saying, we're waving the damn white flag already. I don't know, man. Oh, big up to Melina. And
big up Mel, man.
I think it's very shocking to hear that. I'll be honest, any top player that I actually know of just generally doesn't do something like that. They don't write off their team. They're not there hiding in the big moments when their team needs you. KDB, your team needed you today. They were looking for inspiration. They were looking for someone to lead them. And brother, this guy was hiding. He didn't do good enough. His stats don't look good. The eye test didn't look good. Nothing looked good. And honestly, this ain't the first time that it's happened with KDB. I don't know what it is. He gets to the big stages. He gets to them big moments. And my brother, he bottles them more often than he actually does well in. So we've got to
Ah,
question it, and we are in
what?
every right to question it
No, there's
whenever.
No, Monk, are
When,
you talking international? Or are you talking all over, like his overall career?
so when we're talking Champions League, when we're talking
Ah,
Premier League,
No, I
in
wouldn't.
in
I
the
wouldn't blame him for bottling the Champions League. Personally, he was the reason why they were even
bro, he
upgrading
got,
Real
bro, he,
Madrid.
he
so
got 4
he's,
rounds
he's
smashed in the first fight.
so the Champions League final is only what you're referring to. I'm talking about Man
No. I'm
City's
talking like against
failure
Real
in
Madrid in the
general.
semi-final as an
But- but-
example.
but
He was the
let's
only
let-
reason they were up when they took him
No,
off.
but
Is when
he
they
could
lost.
talk about the
I'm not.
the
I'm
Leon
I'm
final.
talking about his whole time he's been
right.
at this team,
Okay,
bro.
let me.
They've been in the
Okay, let me,
Champions League failing how many years in a row, guys?
Mo,
We're not
can
gonna just sat here.
Mo, can I just make one caveat? Because I just want to explain a good point, because I support Spurs, right? And I went to the Champions League game when we beat City. Now, in that game, KDB put in one of the best performances I've seen from an individual player in a clutch game to drag City. Now, City didn't go through in that game. Yeah, Spurs went through. KDB's performance in that game was as good as you can put. I'm talking putting goals on a plate for people in a
That's
clutch
just
game.
one game of many other failures, by the way.
Mate, KDB before he came to even England was breaking assist records at Werder Bremen. Then he's breaking assist records at
Brother,
Wolfsburg.
look,
Yeah, then he's
nobody.
coming to the
I'm not
Premier
here
League.
talking about stats.
No,
Look,
but
stats
we're
are
talking
great.
about. No, listen,
We're not talking about stats,
because
though.
what you're doing is what you're doing is you're marginalizing his greatness for no
Bro,
reason.
I
You're
am
talking
not
about
marginalizing
stats.
his greatness.
That's why
I
I'm
am
wanting to
holding
like
him.
understand.
I'm holding him to the standards that this brother decided to put him up with.
What
Did you
standards
hear
are
the names
those?
he put him up? Yeah,
Bro,
what
if
names did he
Zidane
put him
played
up
for
there with?
Belgium, what do you think Zidane would be doing? What do you think Zidane would be doing?
Brother, he put him
What
up
do you
there
think
with
he'd be
those
doing?
names.
Nothing.
I
If he didn't
didn't.
have
It
Lilian
wasn't me.
Thuram, if he didn't
I
have
didn't put
Lilian
him up with
Thuram at
those
the back,
names.
what do you think he'd be doing?
Brother,
If he had
listen to what I'm
Castagne
saying.
playing right back,
Listen,
if Zidane had Castagne playing right back,
Castagne.
do
He's
you
not going
think I'm
final.
talking about him? Like,
Fact.
if Zidane, instead of having Vieira and
Yes.
Petit, had
Yeah.
Yuri Tillemans,
Mhm.
what are we doing here?
No way.
all
He's
right.
not. He's
So
eating
Hakim
grass.
Ziyech today. Let me
No, one
ask
second.
this simple
No,
question.
1 second.
Hakim
You know,
Ziyech
you know,
today.
you know,
No,
you know the trigger. You
I
know,
swear to
you
God,
know.
I didn't finish my
1
point.
second.
I didn't
More.
finish my
Let me
point.
answer.
I'm
Bro,
not
he
letting
didn't
you.
finish his
I'm not
point. Let
letting
him
you.
finish.
Sorry, Mo, go on.
Let me finish my
He
point,
knows
bro.
I've got Zidane on one
Let me
thing.
ask a simple question then. Hakim Ziyech and Kevin De Bruyne today, who had the better team to play with?
It's a moment.
No.
Who had the better team to play with?
All right,
Hakim Ziyech or
contextual-
Kevin De Bruyne? Who had the better team to play with? Let's talk about it.
On paper, De Bruyne had the better team. But when you're
team.
looking at the hunger and the team that wants to win,
Young,
I would say Morocco.
old. Yeah.
Who had
Guys,
the team? Who had the team
that's
that
my
had people
point.
capable of
My
running?
point is
Who had
this:
the team that had people capable of sprinting?
either we're saying that Kevin De Bruyne needs stars around him to perform well, or we're
As-
saying that he can't perform on his own.
Okay.
Like, what are we saying
No,
here? Like,
okay,
what are we
Mo,
saying?
what
trying
I'm
to
saying-
actually
Okay, look,
understand.
I'll
Mo,
say it from
Mo.
an unbiased outside looking in, right? So my point on Kevin De Bruyne is this: I don't think he's the so-called main person, but he's the pre-person. So he's the reason why you can win a game. So but what you need is players to put the chances away. You need players to step up in those moments, and that's what De Bruyne will be the sort of the platform you build on, if that makes
Great.
sense.
Yeah. Let me give you an example just quickly, Igal. Yeah. Let me give you an example. And a lot of people don't think that I know this. Let's go back to 1998 World Cup when Zidane lifted it. Yeah. It always starts from beginning. We start from beginning. Group stages. They had South Africa. He didn't perform. Saudi Arabia. He was appalling. He got sent off. Red card. He was appalling. He was criticized in France. I can bring newspapers. He was criticized. News headlines. Shameful performance. Disgrace. Home country. Guess what? He missed South Africa game. No, he missed the next game. Then he missed the Paraguay. It was a knockout stage. They were 0-0. They needed Laurent Blanc to get the first ever. It was the first 115 minutes they scored. It was a knockout goal. He took them to the next day. He came back against Italy. They played Italian side. He was appalling again. They ended 0-0. Look, this is Zidane. Yeah, this is a story of Zidane. Let's start from the beginning. 0-0. Zidane was appalling, was criticized. We went to the next stage. They went on penalties. They went to the semi. And guess what? They were 1-0 down against Croatia with Davos Suka. And they needed a right back called Lilian Thuram to score 2 incredible goals to take them to the final. Zidane had a shock again. Then we went to the final. The story came to the final. So Zidane has been missing
Hey,
all the
you're on
way.
mute.
Forget.
This is who
One
we're
second.
talking to. I'm letting him talk. Bro. Carry on. Carry on.
One second. So Zidane's been missing all the way, criticized, shamed up, comes to the final. Yeah. Guess what? He scores 2 headers, which are Maguire-like headers. Bang, bang. Yeah. He scores 2 Maguires. I'm not cussing. He's my greatest ever player. I love Zidane. He scores 2 Maguire headers. Not like, dribbling past everyone and scores a Maradona goal. No, he scores a cross-whipping header. And then Patrick Vieira and Petit wins the third goal. They beat them, but he's remembered to have won that World Cup for France on that moment that he had that header. You see how unfair it is. You see how, and not only that. Once again, no, it's not cool. The fact that it's a hypocritical, because if I asked you that the team that Zidane had, would he have done it without Lilian Thuram? No. Would he have done it without Desai? No. Was Laurent Blanc one the best centre back? Yes. Was Vicente Lizarazu one the best left back? Yes. Great, one of the best left back in the world.
Okay.
Bro,
Can I say one thing?
So you're telling me.
One second. Everyone, after all of that, I let you finish all of that. I thought you were going to have an actual point. All you did was deflect everything away from Kevin De Bruyne and try to bring down another legend. No one is saying.
I'm just saying you need great players around.
One second. This argument is not about comparing
KDB
Zidane.
needs great players to play good.
1 second.
It's what we
like Zidane.
One second, guys, chill. This whole argument is not about comparing Zidane and thing. It's now changing. You're changing the argument. The argument is Kevin De Bruyne just lost to Morocco, a team that is inferior to his team on paper. And Hakim Ziyech and these boys delivered. Morocco have got their 3rd win in a World Cup final history. Their 3rd ever win. And they got it against this Belgium generation, this team that was supposed to be, in my opinion, one of the favorites to come out of their side of the bracket. They actually were supposed to have an easy side of the bracket. You've not yet won the group. You should have won the group. Today's game versus Morocco should have never happened. As the best player on the team, this is your World Cup to take by the scruff of the neck. He showed a weak mentality in the interviews. He showed a weak mentality on the pitch, and now his team is suffering for it off the back of his poor performance. And the statistics back up that he had a poor performance. Eye test backs up that he had a poor performance, and even his teammates are calling him out after the game to say he had a poor performance.
Did you have a good performance in the first game, Igal?
Who had a good performance in the first game?
Did he have a good performance in the first game?
He wasn't man of the match.
Did he have a good performance though?
He did.
He had a good performance, but he wasn't
Exactly.
deserving of man of the match.
He had one good performance, one bad performance.
But Canada should have won that game.
I think this is a bit premature.
Canada should have won that game. Belgium were terrible this whole tournament so far, and right now what they've seen in 2 games is a Belgium side that don't look like they're capable of getting out of this group.
No. But this is such an simplifying such a bigger problem.
Exactly.
What people are ignoring or like refusing to accept is this Belgium team. Yes, it is brilliant, all the hype, everything, whatever. Look at them play, bro. Do they look like they want to come and win? You can blame De Bruyne, but if you have a team of 10 players who don't want to win, and there's one player trying to do it all, what do you want? And bearing in mind, you're playing against an 11 that are winning for their lives. They want this moment.
Okay. Can we now please give some respect to Morocco? And enough about Belgium. Yeah. Making fun of Belgium.
Bro, you're the one who started with the agenda on De Bruyne, bro. If you want to
there's no agenda, bro. They're calling it out. Calling it an agenda. Calling it an agenda.
To Morocco.
Look. Calling it an agenda just because someone is calling out Kevin De Bruyne.
It's an agenda. It's an agenda.
Calling it out for what it is.
I didn't see this about Messi when Argentina lost their first game.
Are you acting behind the Twitter?
Where have you been?
Are you been hiding?
1 second. Did you not see where's Messi? Where's Messi? Where's Messi?
Did you not see that? I didn't see any of this, bro. Maybe I don't engage with as many trolls as
No,
you
no,
guys
no,
do.
you know what it
Jay,
is,
I don't
though?
engage
Jay,
with as many prisoners of the moment.
Jay,
And the thing
No,
is,
no,
I
no.
love
You know
I
what it
love
is,
the
though?
fact that you
I
want to
backed
act
it,
like the
innit?
world revolves around you, brother.
I'm
And
not,
you're
bro.
some of
I'm
the,
acting like when you do shit takes,
the
knee-jerk
whole
reaction
world,
shit
the
takes.
whole world
That's
has been
on
mocking
you.
Messi.
I'm not a
world-
The
prisoner of
whole
the
world
moment.
has
So
been
I'm never
mocking
gonna
Messi,
say
bro.
De
He's been
Bruyne
getting
shit
mocked.
because his
He's
team
getting
lost to
mocked.
fucking Morocco.
Messi,
Why is De Bruyne
Messi,
shit because Belgium lost to
Messi, our
Morocco?
greatest
Have you not
ever,
seen this?
What
Have
logic
you
is
not
this?
seen this?
ever.
Jay, 1 second. Jay, have you not seen this? Where's Messi?
Bro, what is it? Do I have South Korean sky? What is this?
It's on Twitter, bro. It's on Twitter. You're on Twitter.
Bro, listen, I don't. My life doesn't revolve around Twitter. If you want me to see. Oh,
Bravo,
so
please.
Saudis are mocking Messi. That's just banter, bro. What? I haven't seen a sit down. Hey, gal, you're meant to be a competent content creator. You're not a Terry Flewers. Are you a
Can
Terry Flewers? Because you sound like
Terry's
a
a
Terry
goat.
Flewers.
Don't compare me to him.
You're not a Terry
Listen.
Flewers, but we're out here doing agenda on De Bruyne. So
How's
which
that
one's
an agenda?
Stop.
So
I
we
think
can't
as soon
question
as-
players now. We
Everyone
can't
stop.
Forget De
question
Bruyne,
players.
we've
It's an
talked on
agenda.
it.
Everyone
Let's move
stop.
on.
Understand
Hey, I'm
that
just
when
saying.
you are 1 second, understand when you are the best player or considered one of the best players in the
Yeah.
world, as Kevin De Bruyne has been being put recently, they're putting him on brackets with some of the greatest of the greats. You are
Yeah.
going to get criticized of that level. Now, Messi,
100%.
not only was Messi getting criticized after he lost to Saudi Arabia, Messi was being put as this game versus Mexico is the greatest. It has to be your most toughest ever, the most pressurized game of your career. And if you lose to Mexico, that game against Mexico.
Why are you
had
not giving
so
De
much
Bruyne the
pressure on
same
his back.
chance? He'll do
1
it. He'll
second,
turn
1
up in the
second,
last
Jay.
game.
1 second,
Watch.
Jay. 1 second,
Watch
Jay.
De Bruyne in
Jay,
the last game.
But
Jay,
he'll
my
still
main
get the
point is-
criticism.
My main point
You'll
is
still get
this
the
is not an
criticism,
agenda.
just
When
like
we
Messi
brought
This is not
did.
an
Zidane,
agenda.
people got
This is
triggered.
not an agenda. Kevin De Bruyne basically handed us a talking point, and the talking point is he a big player?
What
Is
do you
he a
mean?
big
Was it,
player?
why would you blame? Like it's like
He's
me,
a
yeah.
collective player. Like
I
Hamza
wouldn't
said
blame.
already.
I
He needs
wouldn't
big
blame
players.
De Bruyne.
What about World Cup
over
final when he let
Martinez.
his country down when he got sent
Exactly. I
off?
wouldn't blame De
We're not gonna
Bruyne
bring that
over
up.
Martinez or Hazard or Vertonghen or all this. I'll be like, listen, in these moments that De Bruyne
need
pulls
great
you
players.
out, like when Messi pulls
He needs
Argentina
players
out,
around it.
you're just gonna enjoy the fact that this guy's pulled your team out, which isn't good enough.
And
Other than that,
there's so many.
if you look at the Belgian players and you think that Belgium should be doing so much more than they're doing based on the quality of player that they've got, fair enough. But based off the player that I'm looking, the quality of the player, the age of player that I'm looking at Belgium, I don't know what you're expecting from these men.
It's like Luis Figo.
What do you
Never
mean?
won
What
a
am I
trophy for his.
expecting? I'm
he's a
expecting
great
them to
player.
beat Canada and Morocco.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting them
I
to.
can't believe
beat Brazil.
Igal, I can't believe you have to explain that to them.
No.
I cannot believe
No,
you've
but
got to
Igal,
explain
Igal.
that to them.
Bro, you're missing.
Right,
You're missing.
okay.
Canada
I'm
and
expecting them
Morocco,
to beat
bro.
Brazil.
Right. Okay. So
No.
what do you watch football on stats or do you watch it in terms of do you
Bro,
see the
I
Belgium
didn't give
team?
you stats.
Right. Wait. Do you see the Belgium team? What would you say the biggest issue with the Belgium team is? Legs.
Team.
Where's their rank?
Everyone.
Yeah?
Where are they
Everyone.
ranked? FIFA ranked.
Bro,
Where
so
are they
if
ranked?
Belgium are playing teams that
Where are they
that
ranked,
have-
brother?
What?
And
Where's
Igal,
Belgium ranked?
Igal,
Second in the world.
I'll
So
give you an
what does
example.
that tell you? That they're going to have
It
high
tells me that the
expectations.
rankings are shit.
No,
I'll-
because they're going to have high expectations on them. That's what
No,
it does.
they
mean.
don't. But
They're
the
going to
team
have
is
high
old.
Do you
expectations.
they're
on them.
ranked
think
number
Belgium
one
are
in
the
the
second
world.
best team in the world?
1 second.
That's
They're
not
ranked
the
number
point.
one.
My point is,
They're ranked
if
number
they're
one.
second placed, if
They're
they're
ranked
that
number one.
high in the
Yeah.
table, they're
You know
going to be
they're for
expected to
Gazi,
do
though.
well.
Right, exactly,
They rank
They're
man.
things
going
off
to
of
be
Gazi,
expected
though.
to beat Morocco. They're going
Bro,
to be
listen,
expected
I
to beat Canada.
was as surprised as anybody that Belgium lost to Morocco. Just as I was surprised that Germany lost to Japan. Just as I was surprised that
France lost to
Argentina lost to
Senegal.
Saudi Arabia.
France,
As in,
Senegal.
these matches are between highly coached teams with good players that are technically good. Do you know what I mean?
And for example,
Jay, Hamza, take this in.
Jay.
34th ranked.
Okay.
Morocco, right? 34th ranked Morocco. Where's Canada? Canada's
I think
not
you missed
even-
it. You missed it. Go down.
Canada's lower than that, right?
No, go
Belgium
down.
are
Go down.
ranked
You
number
missed
one
it.
in the world.
Number
But this-
one.
Number one in the
but-
world.
But we know this ranking is not. It doesn't mean anything. Listen, at the end of the day, let me give you an example. France had an incredible team in 2002 with a generational players. They went there. They
Why are
went
you
there.
bringing up
One
France,
second.
Hamza?
No,
move
because I'm
Zidane
proving you they were the
Zidane
best.
is irrelevant in this conversation.
No,
And
okay,
they
no,
failed.
Zidane.
save
No,
They failed.
no, 2002 they had a great team, but guess what? They got knocked out against Senegal.
Yep,
Senegal
they
knocked them
failed.
out.
They failed. Exactly.
And
They
again,
failed.
and again in
No.
2000.
I
One
think
second.
Igal's missing the
And
point,
then in 2006 again. He had an opportunity to win the World Cup with the greatest team again, and Zidane basically headbutted someone in the final.
Yeah,
and he let his country down again. And so
Bro,
I'm
the
not gonna
man
drag
got
all
his
this
country.
this.
Did you see his performance versus
Look,
Brazil?
Zidane has a
He
World Cup.
carried- he
Zidane has a
carried France
Champions
on
League.
his
Oh,
back.
One thing he doesn't.
so when Zidane has a good performance against
Yes.
Brazil, he carries the country. When
And then when
KDB
De
has a
Bruyne-
good performance
Yes,
against
Brazil.
he's
not
There you
I
go.
feel like doing
There
that.
you
No,
are.
but
He's
he
not
should have.
carrying,
If
bro.
Zidane,
He's not.
listen,
We're lying,
they
innit?
should
We're
have
just gonna
won.
lie.
What? Bro, listen, I know
He
that you
literally
guys
said-
there's a lot if like honestly, if you've watched
That's you
Zidane,
funny.
yeah, if you watch Zidane properly, you know KDB
This guy.
belongs at that table. The
He
argument
sits on the
really
table. He sits on the
the
table.
argument is really, was Zidane as consistent as KDB in his career?
Yeah.
That's a more valid
No,
question.
and Jay, he had, even in club level, he had the likes of Ronaldo, Luis Figo next to him.
Listen,
He had
like,
Makelele.
let's
That
not
he
is
stood
guy.
out.
He
And
had
he stood out.
everything.
And he
He had-
stood out.
No, but
He
sometimes
stood
when he
out.
no,
We still
but
speak
some,
about
stood
him
out.
this day.
but on games he didn't
We still
stand out.
speak
Like
about him
no,
till this
once
day.
again,
We're bringing him up as a comparison,
yeah,
bro.
obviously,
That tells you
we're
what he
saying-
did.
we're
That
saying-
tells you what he
Okay,
did.
listen.
You're
tells you
missing.
what he
You
did.
guys
No,
are
but listen, I
completely
find it
different.
I
The
find it
reason
very
why-
difficult. I find it very difficult to speak to people that believe that Zidane was better than KDB. I don't see it. There's no there's nothing
Yeah.
that I don't see there's anything that Zidane had that was better than KDB. If somebody can
Any-
tell me
what?
now, what was Zidane? No, tell me, what was Zidane better at than KDB?
Pablo,
I
get on
think
it.
dribbling. I think
Go
dribbling.
on, tell me, what was Zidane better at than KDB? Genuinely.
Dribbling, I think.
Dribbling. Yeah, dribbling. Well, KDB's not an aesthetic dribbler, but he's an
Yeah.
effective dribbler.
Shooting is
What does
KDB.
that even
KD
mean?
Assist is
It
KDB.
means
Shooting.
aesthetically, KDB doesn't look like a
Listen,
nice
Can
dribbler.
you
but he'll
guys
dribble
can
past
you guys get off the KDB and Zidane comparison? And
It's
I'm
talk
sorry,
about
bro.
game?
They're
I'm sorry.
deflecting,
It
bro.
angers me when people say
No,
this.
1 second, Jay.
What
one
am I
second.
missing? What am I missing?
Modric is better. Modric over KDB, KDB over Zidane.
One second. Let me explain to the guy what they're missing. What he is saying is Zidane is considered one of the greats, but he's also flopped for France.
Yeah.
He's also
Yeah.
ghosted for France in games.
Yes, he has
We have
ghosted.
questioned him.
Inconsistent seasons at club level.
Wait. What I'm saying, this is the point, because it's going to go over the guy's head again. What they're saying is he's greats around him, like Hamza mentioned. But whereas with Kevin De Bruyne, he's meant to carry bums. That's the comparison they're trying to make. Whereas with Zidane, had
So
players. who
Kevin
could
De Bruyne
bail him
only
out
plays
if-
with bums.
If he doesn't have a good performance, De Bruyne is going to be shut out like a bright light because he's got bums around him that no one cares about. Hazard is done.
So Kevin De
Everyone in
Bruyne,
there is done.
Kevin De Bruyne plays with bums at Man City. Is what we're saying.
No,
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't.
God,
No,
who
we're
said
saying
that?
he
We're
plays
talking
with bums
about
at
My
Belgium.
my point exactly. So my point here is
But where
when
has he bottled it with Man City though?
in the
Where?
Champions League, why are we
In
acting
the-
blind? to
one
this?
second,
In
one
the
second,
Champions League, he's
one second.
bottled it, bro.
One second.
Listen, is Pep the best manager in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, so Pep hasn't won a Champions League with City, and he hasn't won a Champions League with Bayern Munich. Why is he the best
Correct.
manager in the world?
And it
Because
gets
he's
held
bottled
against
Champions
him. And it
Your-
gets held
Your
against him.
criteria is
It
hypocritical.
held
It
against
doesn't
him.
make
Can I
sense.
just
Your
say one more
criteria,
thing?
it's all over
It
the
gets
place.
Can I
it
just
gets
say one
held
more thing?
against him. So
One
what's your
second,
point? I'm
1 second.
confused.
1 second.
Well, you just
One
said
second.
that Guardiola is the best manager in the world. Yeah,
He is. Right now, he is.
You just criticized KDB for not winning a Champions League. So how could
flopping.
Guardiola
For
be the best
flopping.
manager in the world, but
Consistently
you're not
for
using
flopping.
the caveat you're using against KDB?
The reason why
Brothers,
Guardiola gets held
brothers,
against him is because he
brothers,
changes the system in
brothers.
finals.
Brothers, simply put, I'm gonna say this: you have one of the best goalkeepers, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world right now, or potentially one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now in your
Who's that?
team. You look at your defense. The
Who's
defense
that?
is not Courtois. You look at the defense. The
I
defense
wouldn't
is
say he's the
aging.
best on form, but
He's not.
The
He's not. He's not.
defense
He's
is
not.
aging, and I'll say the defense is
In the last year,
the
he has
area.
been, guys.
The defense is the area of the pitch where you can say, you know what, it's an aging defense. You can criticize that. I
But you
get
need
it.
the
What about the
defense.
attack?
You look at the midfield. You should say, you know what, the midfield is good enough.
So
The
Onana
area
is good enough.
the
Onana is good
midfield-
enough.
1 second.
Onana is good enough.
Listen. The midfield is good enough, and even the previous midfield, last tournament, and the
Onana and
tournament-
Tillemans.
and
You
the
telling me
tournament
that's
before
good?
that,
You what?
was good enough.
Why is it bad?
It's Onana
The
and
attack-
Witsel. It's Witsel,
1 second.
bro.
1 second. The
They're not
attack.
bad though. They
The
could
attack
guys-
be
over
beating.
the
What
attack.
do you mean not
Morocco
bad?
and
One
Canada.
second. 1 second. The attack over the last
Guys, they're
three
not playing
tournaments-
France. They're
the
not
attack
playing
over the last
England
three
right now.
tournaments
So
has been the same.
what we
You've
making a
had
point about?
Lukaku. You've had Hazard, you've had Dries Merton, you've had all these guys for the last couple tournaments. So this team, I'm not saying is the best team in the world, but arguably, when it's not pressurized moments, they perform like one of the best teams in the
Okay,
world.
would you take Batshuayi for Arsenal?
Hence
Would you
why,
take Batshuayi for
hence
Arsenal?
why they're criticized. One second. Hence why they're
Shameless guy, bro.
criticized.
Wallah, Hamza, you're
Listen,
shameless as hell, bro.
only
You know you
reason-
are.
The only reason why Kevin De Bruyne and these guys get criticized is because when they're playing non-international tournaments, they perform like some of the
Let me.
best teams
That's
in
a
the world.
great. Oh no, let me hold on.
no.
Someone asked the question. Someone said, "Is Croatia 2018 team better than this Belgium team?"
No,
Pardon?
What?
no.
You don't
What?
think the team? You don't
They're
think the team
way
that made the
better.
World Cup final is better than that shit that you saw
Bro,
today?
that Belgium team that year should have got to the final.
Okay, let me give you an example.
They
Guess what?
flopped,
No. Let
And
me
Kevin
repeat.
De Bruyne was there.
What J. The
just
team
want you
that
to know.
beat them, the team that beat them went and won the World Cup. Croatia faced England. They had an easy way through.
All
So
right, guys.
sometimes
We
no,
spent
one second.
40 minutes
One
on
second.
Belgium. We
One
spent
second.
40 minutes on Belgium. I just want to say this. Let's move on from Belgium. Let's try to end off the
Let's
last.
This
just
guy
leave
will
the-
never admit it, bro.
Let's just leave the KDB and
Hamza,
Zidane's debate
the
as their
craziest thing
level.
of the day
Same level.
has
It shouldn't be even
the
a debate.
craziest thing of the
It
day
shouldn't
has
be.
been
Why
this
is it
has
not a
been a
debate?
witch hunt.
It's not.
This from your side, it's been a witch hunt on Zidane, and from our side, we're just
No,
trying
no,
to.
No.
This is
Igor,
the
I
thing.
rate Zidane. It's just
You still
De
missed the
Bruyne
point.
is here. De Bruyne
I'm
and
choosing
Zidane are
to make
here.
this video.
We
Like,
did
if
it.
you don't see that,
That's
you
what
don't
I
know
like.
ball.
That's what I like.
No, forget it. Igau's just
Pablo,
missed the point
his
completely.
name is
Missed
No,
the
Zero
no.
is
point.
Jay.
Do you know what the crazy thing is, bro? Like the only thing we've been trying to do is hold KDB accountable, just like we would for any star that is put to that level, guys.
Right, no.
But
So then the
instead,
situation
what
Hamza
we've
gave
done
you
is
when
we've
Zidane
had
had
a
a poor
deflection
98
tactic
World
here.
Cup. What
The
about that?
deflection is let's talk about Zidane anytime we bring something up about KDB. But it's all good. If that makes you feel better about how well
It
or
does
how
make me
bad
feel
he's
better.
doing,
I feel
It does.
great. Thank you. Let's
All right,
move
guys.
on.
Let's move on. I just want to take a moment to say Morocco, what a moment for their country. What
Yeah,
a
man,
moment.
well
Their
done.
third biggest ever World Cup win. They've accomplished something massive. And you know what? There's 3 other games. We're just going to breeze through them. The Japan-Croatia game, we'll just touch on that quickly. Croatia had their first shot of the tournament and it was a goal. They couldn't do anything against Spain.
Costa
Spain was just
Rica.
too good. And
What do you
Japan,
mean? You mean
Jap-
Costa
Japan
Rica?
versus Costa Rica. you mean?
Costa
Yeah.
Rica, sorry. Costa
Cool.
Rica, by the way, one shot, one goal, and also Japan self-sabotaged themselves. They had all their guys who came on and saved the day for them last week on the bench again. I don't know if it's by design to just have a strong bench and try to have them save you, but none of them came on. Tomiyasu was injured. Asana ended up getting on the pitch. It was too late. I thought Japan were going to beat Costa Rica. That was one of the first upsets. That was the first upset of the day. What did you guys think about that game quickly, just before we move on to the Canada game? Nothing.
I didn't get to watch. I'll be honest. I expected
You
Japan to
save
win
this
though.
time for arguing about KDB. I can't lie. No, the game was interesting because what you get Costa Rica, yeah, they made this group interesting now, and it gave Germany life because Germany shouldn't have any life. Japan should have put a bullet in them today with this game, and I think that might come back to haunt them a little bit because I don't see how Japan can beat Spain, but I also think put those players on the bench against Spain. Put Mitoma against Carvajal. I want to see something. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him get cooked for 90 minutes because that's what's going to happen if you do it. Like, put these fast players against. Let's see whether Rodri likes to run back towards his goal. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a look at it.
So, anybody else watch the game? Gunnar Soul?
I watched the game. We all expected Japan to win this game easily. The question is, I've said it so many times, like every game you play in the World Cup now, you have to take it like a final. Don't disrespect Costa Rica. Germany respected Germany. No, Japan respected Germany, so they played with heart. When the way they played Costa Rica, they thought, it's easy 3 point. And what Costa Rica did is what I've seen a lot: smash and grab football. Brentford, Man City,
Fantastic,
bang.
man. It's
They'll get the
fantastic.
3 points.
You gotta love it, man.
You are play them, they get the 3 points. And it hurts. It hurts. You are play them, they get 3 points. So I understood what Japan felt like. Like at the end of the day, it might come to hurt them. They were way better than Costa Rica. They deserve the 3 points. No one believed Costa Rica will win this game.
The
But this
goalkeeper
is-
should have saved it though.
but-
Don't you think,
but thi-
Hamza?
he should have. But this is the most beautiful thing about this World Cup. This World Cup is coming every single day. There's a shock. There's a shock. Do not be surprised tomorrow. There's another shock. It's like every single day. We have to learn. Like we have to respect your opponents, whoever they are. You have to participate and play well. And at the end of the day, Japan now lost this game through a smash and grab. Now they're gonna pay a price. They have to go and play. Who are they playing? Croatia, is it? Spain. They're playing Spain.
Spain, yeah.
Yeah.
If
They're playing
Costa
Spain.
Rica, if Costa Rica gets something against Spain, Germany could still top the group.
No, Germany.
Costa Rica playing Germany.
Germany have
No,
learned that.
Germany play, I'm all confused. Germany
No,
play.
Germany are playing Costa Rica.
Yeah,
Germany
Germany
have-
are playing
Ge-
Costa Rica,
and-
Costa Rica lose to Germany,
Yeah.
right? And then is Germany
Spain.
still could potentially top the
Spain.
group if Japan gets
So
something off.
Germany will go through. Germany will
Is
go
there
through.
any mathematical way
No,
for
yeah.
Germany to top
So
the group?
Germany need to win by 2-0 to guarantee over 2-0. They need
Can
to
they
beat Costa
top the
Rica.
group though?
Yeah,
Because
they
the
can
only
if they
way
draw.
we get Brazil Germany is if they top the group. And selfishly, I want to see Germany get slapped by Brazil.
Okay, listen. Japan, if Belgium and Japan draw, they're both on 4 points, and if Germany wins by 2-0 or 3-0, they might top the group. So they just need to win by 3-4-0. That's it. And I think Germany are going to take it seriously. They got taught a lesson against Japan. They'll come there with a fighting spirit, and they will beat Costa Rica, but they will panic. The longer the game goes, and they're not getting that goal, they will panic. So they need to get that goal within 20 minutes. Because think about it. If you're not getting the goal by 40, 50 minutes, what happens? You start sending people because you need to score 2 or 3-0. They have to score more than 2. So they will panic. So the key thing is Germany have to score goals. I think they're going to win. But will they panic in case the game starts if Costa Rica just say, yo, we're going to park the bus and just wait and do what Japan did? And if that works well, again, there can be a shocker. Guys, I think this is the
both
game.
games on at the same time as well, or is that a different
Same time.
group of-
Yeah,
Same time.
last time is everyone's going to be playing 3 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Let's be honest, guys. There's not a lot of talking points out of this Japan Costa Rica game. Did you guys have anything else to talk about before we get on to the fans and these Japan fans? They always clean up after themselves. That's so much.
Why is that a talking point? Do you not clean up after yourself?
No, it's a good.
Let's be honest. The
I was
West
literally gonna say their moms taught them well, like their
They
family.
did.
and
They did.
etiquette.
No,
They
do you know what happened though, innit? Costa Rica won up the Japan fans and started helping paint the stadium this time. They helped with the refurbishment jobs, innit? You get me?
Okay, Hamza's
Right.
dropped off. I don't know if he's dropped off permanently, but we'll find out.
He probably has to go. He said he probably has to go defend KDB in a space somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Da-da-da-da-da.
He's
There
been
you
trying to
go.
defend him all day, man. It's not working. I'm telling you.
I know.
Bro, did you see what he did the other day? The picture with the Saudi Arabia Poland thing, and then I put all the pictures of him wearing different kits.
Yeah. He wears a lot of
I was
shirts.
dying.
Oh my god,
He's a
I
fan.
destroyed him. Anyways,
What was-
Hamza, it's all fun, bro. Thank you for coming on. Let's now move on to Canada, Croatia. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Canada had a lot of hopes for this World Cup.
Mhm.
As a country, they had a lot of hopes.
Mhm.
I ordered 2 kits. They never came in time. They're gonna come
Okay,
in
well,
December.
fair enough.
They're gonna come in December.
I know.
Yeah.
They're gonna be
Bro.
out by then.
They're already out. But yeah, but I'll be wearing it in 2026. I'll tell you this right now: Canada getting their first World Cup goal. We pretty much already won the World Cup. That is
Hey,
our
man,
accomplishment.
freaking
That
hell!
is-
The expectations are in the gutter, man. Jeez.
Bro, listen, Canada, this is their first World Cup in 30 years. We've never scored a goal in a World Cup. That was our first World Cup goal. Alphonso Davies, ever. Yeah, ever. That was our first
Wow.
World Cup goal ever. So Alphonso Davies made history, and hence we got our moment. We went into the World Cup looking for moments, trying to win a game, trying to get a goal. We had our opportunities. We didn't take it against Belgium. We didn't take it against Costa Rica, and now unfortunately, this is the situation we find ourselves in. But as a Canadian, someone born in Canada, born in Toronto, it's just beautiful to see us actually in a World Cup, score a goal. Buchanan, he's definitely going to be one for the future. You guys need to keep an eye out for him. He plays for Porto. No, he plays in Portugal. He plays for Club Brugge in He plays for Club
Belgium.
Brugge in Belgium. So yeah, you got to keep an eye on him, for him, and he's definitely going to be a good one over there. But yeah, everything else, I gotta just say, we are letdowns in the sense that we had opportunities, we dropped off, and Croatia unnecessarily. Our manager prior to the game said, we need to fuck up Croatia. And then what happened? They fucked us up. We gave them unnecessary motivation. And after the game, they spoke about what gave them the motivation, and they said it was the Canada's coach. So sometimes your own detriment is your own confidence. But yeah, what do you guys got to say? 4-1 on the day. We scored the opening goal. We couldn't hold on to it, and they just peppered us the rest of the game.
It's interesting watching this game. Like, you lot had such a fantastic start. I thought there'd be a change in game plan. Like, you'd understand to now you need to manage the game. You've clearly caused a shocker there, and instead of just doing that, the game plan was still to try and play football too much. And in my opinion, the more the game went on, the more Croatia just got more comfortable, got used to you guys, and things just weren't working well. The transitions were getting you lot, and the individual players being able to actually win the individual duels was getting you lot. And generally speaking, I felt like your creativity just ran out. Like, any aspect of it that you had at the beginning just completely was gone by the time the second goal went in my opinion. So I'll be honest, I'm not shocked by the scoreline. I just felt like you had such a fantastic start. There should have been a better in-game management to try and make sure that you keep the score down, and you guys as a team can stay compact and can keep the ball, or even if you're conceding position, you know how to actually defend and frustrate Croatia. But instead, I just felt like the game was far too open. That's the truth.
And you know what? That's the way we play. It's almost like we're playing FIFA with the holding the power button the whole time.
Well, that's one thing I was gonna say. Like, Canada really reminded me like a Leeds or something. Do you know what I mean? Like Canada just rocked up playing like Leeds. Do you know what I mean? Like literally Bielsa. I'm watching Canada. I'm like, you motherfuckers defend. Like, drop back. You know, like, do something competent. Nah, they're like press.
We changed the formation too. We changed the formation to 4 at the back.
It was attack.
Bro, these guys are insane. 39-year-old Atiba Hutchinson holding it back. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like when you've got a fucking gale force storm going and you've got a broken door and you put a little Watsit there to try and hook it, make sure it doesn't blow open. It's like, you're always gonna, and I love Canada because they're good energy, but it's like once you get past the energy, it's like, what else have you got? Do you have any tactical awareness? Do you have any skill? Do you have any sort of game management? You are 1-0 up going into halftime, and somehow I turn back and it's 2-1 Croatia.
Yeah.
What sort of game management is that? You just basically just stop pressing for a second. Just,
and which smart ass in their team thought, oh yeah, we're playing against Brozovic, Kovacic, and Modric.
Let's go press him.
You know what the best thing to do against press-resistant midfielders?
Yeah.
Oh, let's press them.
Yeah, let's go press them.
Let's press them. Let's go for them. Oh, they love. Oh my God, they love when we press them.
Shit, these guys know how to play through a press. What's going on here?
You know what happened today?
They don't do it like that in ML.
Like prejudice and stereotype that Canadians are too nice. That's what happened.
That's what I'm saying. They thought it was going to be maple syrup and waffles.
That's a good comparison as well.
Can I ask a question though? Because in this World Cup, I'm seeing a lot of players that not getting exposed, but there's players like, and I think somebody said it's like players that get hyped a lot on the timeline, but you don't really see them play. So you kind of go with the general consensus. So players like Rodrigo de Paul, Schlotterbeck, players that you hear a lot of hype about. Your boy, Jonathan David, I think he falls into this category of player I didn't have the benefit of watching very much because he plays for Lille, and let's be honest, like only fucking, I don't know, XG merchants like watching Lille. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, right, the guy I don't know a lot about, but I'm watching him and I am deeply unimpressed with Jonathan David. And I know I don't want to judge a player on the World Cup as to being good. And I also don't want to judge a good player on being bad at the World Cup just because they play a bad game. You got to do the same for both sides. If you're not going to say someone's amazing when they play one good game, don't say someone's shit when they play a bad game. But Jonathan David, is he a good player?
Yeah.
Like, please.
He's 22 years old, and the guy, let's be honest,
That's old enough to at least do something.
One second. The way that we were playing, he found himself drifting more and more times rather than staying centrally. So I kind of do understand the criticism on him, but let's be honest, we didn't really play with our forwards. We mostly just played with our wingers, and whenever we crossed the ball, luckily Alphonso Davies was there, but Jonathan David wasn't there for those passes. He was
Well,
poor.
He should have been. That's the
He
criticism.
was poor.
His
He was poor.
positioning awareness.
His positional play was off. But right now, to say we're gonna judge him based off 2 games, this Canada team is nowhere near.
No, but you know what the
yet.
criticism that I've got for him is his positional awareness. I'm sorry that you either have it or you don't.
Yeah, he's just not really. He's not that player that I saw today. I'm not going to judge his whole ability on that, but that's not the player that people have been describing to me for the last 6 months.
The average team age is like 25. When you take
That
away,
doesn't matter.
when
Arsenal's
you take
average
away,
age
when you
team
take
is
away, when you take away our
23.
37-year-old goalkeeper and one of our midfielders who's like 35, the average age drops strictly to.
Okay, that's a
23.
great.
Yeah,
Someone
even Arsenal's average age is low. That doesn't mean
someone just said something good. Someone just asked a great question in the chat. Is he as good as Eddie Nketiah?
Bro,
Yeah, he's better than him easily.
You think Jonathan David's better than Eddie Nketiah?
100%. Not even a doubt in my mind about that. 100%.
Interesting.
You're speaking to someone. You're speaking to someone that. You're speaking to someone.
I saw Balogun, who can barely get in a squad over Eddie, go to France and score regularly.
Would you like to
Pablo clip this.
Is he better than Broha?
Listen,
Jay, can I just say this?
The thing is that I want to understand what people are saying, because playing pretty well at Lille, is that what we're judging he's better than Eddie at? Because I'm seeing players go to France and do good jobs. Why is Jonathan David definitively, if Jonathan David was in the Premier League right now, playing for Arsenal instead of Eddie Nketiah, would he be scoring more goals? I think the answer is no. I think the answer is genuinely no. And I'd like to know why the answer is yes.
Eddie Nketiah is on 0 goals. It's impossible to do worse than that right now.
Yeah, but what did David do last year? What was his record last year?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say to you. If you watched the Lille team last year that did actually fantastically well, he was a big part of it. And the thing is, I understand you were like obviously upfront and honest about it. You don't watch him at Lille. It's not a team that you watch, which I understand. But it's even more of a reason why that when you watch them in isolated situations like this, with a team that we've just spoke about have been tactically just completely dumb in a World Cup and are clearly new to this stage of game, he can't stand out in this, because at the end of the day, he's a flipping young kid who's literally still figuring himself out. He's a role player, don't get me wrong.
I agree with. But my criticism of him right now, I've watched him at Lille. I do watch Ligue 1 just because.
Is he better than Eddie Nketiah, please?
100% he is.
No, because you guys are just throwing it out that he's better than Eddie Nketiah. Oh, what is he better than Eddie Nketiah?
He's a more clinical finisher, in my opinion. But my point is, the one thing I've been disappointed with, and look, it could be tactical, it could be many nuances in this, is more his attacking position. For me, no matter how badly tactically you set up, if you're a smart player, and look, positions, I think you've either got it, that footballing IQ, or you don't have it. And for me, I feel like when things are going against him, in terms of Canada, he's not been in the right place at the right time, and that's what I expect of a striker. But that's
you guys watched Canada. You guys watched Canada today, right? I'm assuming everybody watched that game. Based on what you saw there, did you see an actual clear game plan, getting the ball from the back to the front where the strikers are?
I saw a guy that could barely. I saw a guy that could barely trap the ball and pass. But I'm not judging him.
No, but I'm talking about the team. The collective he plays with will always impact a player's individual capabilities in games. It's not to say that
what I'm trying to say to you is that, like, listen, you guys watch him more than me. Yeah, so I'm gonna defer to some of your judgments over my own judgment. Yeah, I've seen some of him play. Yeah, I'm not overly impressed by what I've seen. Yeah, I also have seen Balogun go to France and do well. Now, I am not trying to say that, oh my God, but Balogun scores at a better rate than Davies, I think. Potentially. I'm not sure.
At the moment, he's one of the top goal
Maybe,
scorers in the league.
maybe I'm talking out of turn
I
here.
think you're
I
right.
think you have to
because
realize
I
Lille are
think-
doing very bad as well right now.
I-
They've had their manager taken off of them. They've lost certain players too. Lille is not the same team.
No, but-
So
but you know-
there are certain things that impact how well a player can do, and it's actually important you don't ignore context in these scenarios.
but
If you want to make
but we've-
individual judgment on it, that's fair
But
enough
we've-
as well.
the thing is, I've heard about this North American hype so much, yeah. No disrespect to you. One more, you're one of the biggest culprit of that Pulisic fraud. That guy, he's a fraud. No doubt about it. You can see this North American hype is so much I see, and he's right. Jay is right. We've seen so many players coming from that league. Let me give you an example. Shamak, remember Shamak? He was a top scorer in League A. He got the league title. There's a player, Lacazette, Sydney Govou. We can go back that we know them. We know this hype. But I don't think if he's that special, why Bayern Munich not there poaching a young 22-year-old?
Because they don't need this profile right now.
No. Why are they deciding on Choupo-Moting on a 33-year-old? Why other teams like Real Madrid and Barcelona? How come you guys are the only one that think that he's a special talent? This Canadian team was
Brother,
overhyped.
I haven't overhyped him. I've just said he's better than Eddie Nketiah, who's done nothing right now.
Is he better than Broja? Is he better than
Flipping
Broja?
hell, man.
Is he better than-
He's more proven. He's more proven, bro. He's got more experience than these players right now, bro. Like I'm not going to be here sat here. I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm not going to be sat here being biased, bro.
Can I just say this? We're judging a player off 2 games.
I'm basically saying, there's a lot of players that you are crystallizing in people's view. There's a lot of internet hype about players when you don't watch these players. You don't see these players. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm judging the player off this. I'm saying that questions get more asked. People are talking about Kane and blah, blah, blah. Kane's second top scorer in the Premier League this season. Yeah? Go argue about somebody else, right? I'm asking if Jonathan David...
If you watch the 2 World Cup games...
Yeah?
He was good in one of them. The other
he was good.
Was
I thought Kane was okay the other night. I thought his hold-up play was pretty good at times. I think he got us up the pitch. We'll
save England for another day. Yeah. I just feel like, let me just bring it back for a second. Jonathan David, for Canada, what he has been, he's been a guy who's had impeccable movement, and in the last 2 games, he's had bad movement. He hasn't been getting in goal-scoring positions. We haven't been getting the balls in the right areas for him to get on the back of. So the whole team has been poor. He has been poor, and it's not been a good showing of him. Right. In Canada, Mexico, and USA's 2026 World Cup, I believe that he'll be 26 that time, and he'll be still around hopefully, and he'll have an opportunity to bounce back. For now, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that we didn't win, but I'm proud of Canada, and I want to move on to the Germany-Spain game.
Yeah, but just before you move on, I'm just gonna say, like, you know how with players and comparisons and stuff, everybody is good at certain positions. Yeah. Like, I'm appalling at rating right backs. Yeah, I'm really bad at rating right backs. I can see a right back, I think he's good, but then it plays out really badly. I'm very good at rating strikers. Yeah, I'm very, very good at rating strikers. I always have been, like, always. I'm saying Jonathan David, when I look at him, when I see him, when I feel his essence, he's not better than Eddie Nketiah. He fails the eye test of being better than Eddie Nketiah.
4 years time, let's see whether he's going to be playing for a big club. That's all.
That's what I'm saying. I guarantee you, Jonathan David, in 4 years time, will be playing for like Fulham or something.
But Eddie Nketiah.
Let's see, bro. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it plays out.
Mohammed, just did it.
I'll leave it, bro. It's cool.
I don't think he's better than Nketiah. I honestly think if you put Eddie Nketiah in League One, he's getting 20-something goals.
Batshuayi came from that league. Batshuayi came from that league.
Please, I said it. Please. Germany and Spain. I'm going to go to my guy, Gunnar Sol.
No. I've got a question before this game starts. You've got a Germany top, but you don't have a Canada top. Come on. That's a bit fraudulent behavior.
First of all,
he explained it to me.
This Germany top is from when Ozil was still in the team, and it was that World Cup. So it's
France
not.
Tiger.
So it's a long time ago, and I've bought in 2 Canadian tops. I have a red Bushana shirt coming, and I have a black Alfonso Davis shirt coming. So this whole thing about you don't have a kit, I do have kits. They're on the
No,
way.
no, no, no. I'm just saying you had this one before the Canadian top. That's all I'm saying.
No, but there was no Canadian tops for sale when the last World Cup. If you don't know,
I'm
if
sure they have
Canada's
national tops though, even if they're not.
no,
Like
if Canada's
Pakistan's
not
got a national
one
football
second,
top, by the way.
if Canada's not in the tournament, they're not out in the streets selling Canada tops.
Yeah, but you can find Pakistan ones that they don't even have a football team, but they
Bro,
have one.
in Canada, they will literally be selling tops for euros. We're not even European.
Oh wow.
That's
So-
okay, that's just odd.
Bro,
Germans.
they literally have pizza specials for the Euros, and we're not even European. It makes no sense. Anyways, enough about that. Let's go back to Germany, Spain. Gunnar Souls, talk to me about your Spanish boys. What happened?
Hey, all I'm gonna say, yeah, I don't care how much smoke I hold for this. Luis Enrique, you're an idiot. How the hell do you have the most direct super sub on the bench and not bring him on when you need a go? How did Ansu Fati not touch the pitch? How?
Oh, I
He's
don't
not
know,
fit.
man.
He's
How?
not fit. He's not
I
fit.
know he is.
He's not fit.
You
He's not been
telling me
playing
man's
for
been fit
Barcelona.
20 minutes. No, he has. This is what I'm saying. He has. He's been coming off the bench. He's fit enough to play at least 30 minutes.
One
But
thing
it's
that
just he's
Yeah,
not
like I
had
said
game
before,
time.
you guys cook me. I want to make my point in it.
No, no,
But
no.
this game, in my opinion, was lost because of the substitutions. You bought Koke on. Koke, to me, what the hell is he going to offer you? He's not going to offer you any defensive solidity, any control. The man's done out here. He's not good enough, right? So you bring him on. My thing is, yeah, what he should have done, in my opinion, move Rodri into midfield, and he should have brought Pau Torres on. Yeah, just to solidify that midfield, just control the game from this point onwards, right? And that's why they drew this game. I know it didn't loss, it's not a loss or anything, but to me, there could have been better in-game management to control this game better. So, because Germany at that point, it was like basically die in it. It was like live or die. And that was the kind of game they had to play, because if they had lost that game, they weren't going through. They would have been out of the tournament, or it would have been very difficult. The odds would have been way against them. So they needed to win. So what you do in them situations in a game management when you've taken the lead is you try and dictate the game better than what Germany were doing. And that's what happened, man. And the thing is, so again, Pedri and Gavi take a bow, man. Them two players are superstars in the making. Ferran Torres had a poorer game than I would expect him to. The finishing wasn't there. Dani Almo had a good game, in my opinion. And Asensio, he didn't do what I expected him to do. But Gavi and Pedri, my God, are these two players going to be something? And I'm so glad they're at Barcelona. That is the Xavi Iniesta regen done. This is the future of Spain, and I'm excited to see the football they can produce. Look, Enrique made a mistake. I'm not going to get onto him. I'm not going to say he's a fraud or anything, but what a game they had. And the thing is, tactically, I feel like they're the favourites to win the World Cup.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna say this. I watched the first half of the game, and in the second half, I kind of fell asleep. So I'm not
Oh
probably.
wow.
I'm probably not the best person to speak about this game, but from what I've seen, Germany just kept their hopes alive. And what the hell happened at the end? What the hell happened at the end with Leroy Sané? Made no sense. He could have easily scored that goal. But hey, well, I digress. I'll leave it to you guys on this one. Who else watched the game, by the way?
Yeah, I did
as well.
as well. Well,
Okay, so what do you guys got to say? Because it sounds like you guys don't really want to talk about this 1-1 draw.
No, I'm happy to talk about it. I think I was very disappointed, and I'm gonna say something here that probably might trigger a few people, but I think Flick has a lot to answer for in terms of how he's carried this Germany team, because I don't think he's done a fantastic job at all. And I'm very concerned with his team selections, with his tactical approach to games, and his use of certain players in certain positions has been very questionable. And this Germany team, in my opinion, does not look better off in his hands. It's looking worse off. And I'm shocked to say this, because I generally had high hopes for him, and I thought Germany did the right thing with putting him in charge. But honestly, I'm watching some of these players, and some of these players are not looking like themselves at all when they play for Germany. And there was obviously like certain bright sparks. I think Musiala, my God, man, the guy again just like how highly you're speaking about and Gavi and Petri, man, this kid, I can't believe he was at Chelsea's academy and we ended up losing him the way that we did, because he looks special, but he looks like he ended up at the right club that took his development very serious and did it the right way. And honestly speaking, you can see it, like literally so confident. You forget how old he is when he's on the ball and the way he carries himself, the way he's composed. That was the biggest bright spark I saw in Germany. The rest of them, the more experienced players, I'm shocked. I'm stunned. The manager, there's a lot you've got to answer for. This Germany team underachieving is on you. It's not a lack of talent, it's poor selection on this manager. And I am so disappointed in them. As for Luis Enrique, I think my brother a minute ago just explained it perfectly well. What he's done with this team, the football that they play, the way he's able to actually carry a certain style of play that generally I think not every manager can come into this Spain job and carry out. He's done a phenomenal job and he's embedding the youngsters into the team. That may look easy to others, but honestly speaking, it's a hard job to balance it out. And I think he's done it in a manner that I can respect a hell lot of
The
amount,
other thing that's
because they
impressive.
will be set up at least for the next 8 years of
let me-
competitions if it's done correctly. But
Let-
yeah,
let
I'll
The most
stop there.
impressive thing is,
Let-
though, he's gotten Busquets performing, which is like right now at Barcelona. If anyone watches them, seems like an impossible task. Like Busquets looks like a shadow of himself in the league, but now when you look at him at the World Cup, he's dictating the game again. He's controlling games again, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's the most impressive thing, how you've used him, because that's the same midfield Barcelona use, but Busquets doesn't look like this. So I've got to give him credit for that, and also think about it. He's got one of the best central defensive midfielders in the world on form, playing centre back, and they still look fine. They don't look phased. They don't look like there's players out of position, even though there is. And you know, Carvajal, don't forget, his first game back and he looked fine. He didn't look too phased by the competition. So look, early stages, Spain looks solid. Oh, Jordi Alba's back as well, man. I think he had a phenomenal game.
Are Spain the best team in this World Cup?
Potentially.
From the opening food, yes.
But
One of the teams.
They're one of four for me that can win it. Like Spain, Brazil, England. I don't know about the last one. Maybe
I'm going to keep my opinion to myself about England.
Hey, listen.
I'm just gonna say Brazil.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say Brazil and keep it moving.
Can I? So just to piggyback on your point about Germany, it's a really great point, because the one thing is that there was a lot of people who were telling when England beat Germany in the last tournament, a lot of people were saying that England beat a poor Germany side. Yeah. But in that tournament, Germany actually played no real difference to how they're playing now. It's pretty similar. You can argue tactically they're a little bit different, but in terms of the overarching quality that you're getting from them, I think we all maybe expected a little bit more from Flick. Considering you're going from Joachim Low to Flick, you're expecting like a difference in the quality level, which is interesting to me, which tells me it's one of these things where you have to look at the league. You have to look at the league and you have to look at the quality of the league, and you have to look at who you're pushing as your top players. Who are you saying are your generational players? Because this is the thing. A lot of football fans, internet fans, will tell me about Kimmich. Yeah? And I don't not like Kimmich. I think he's a very good player. But at these top level, they used to have Kroos, they used to have Schweinsteiger, they used to have Özil, they used to have Muller still. The quality of this player that Germany have now is lower. They have a lower quality of player. So now they have to do sum of parts football. And when you do sum of parts football, you basically have to have the overall impact of the players you put together is greater than their subjective quality. Okay. So now we got people like Musiala and stuff. But when you're playing journeyman Fugazi strikers, yeah, they'll get you a goal. Yeah, they'll do something for you. But this is the quality differential that you're using now. And I'm not sure whether or not it's on the manager to be getting more out of these groups of players, or it's of the players are not of the requisite quality for him to get more out of them. I'm not sure which way round it is.
Do you know what it is? I think Germany's got a very mismatched age profile. They've still not found, in my opinion anyway, like, for example, Kimmich, they've not found the next Kimmich, Leon Goretzka there, but it's that sort of next level of player. Like, even if you look at Philipp Lahm, I don't think they've truly replaced him, because when you look at right back, they have not been able to sort of play it the same way they have. So I think it's a bit of two. I think Germany is in this sort of odd transition where people think they've transitioned, but they're still slightly in that phase of finding the next level of player. But that's just an opinion of mine. But
can I ask the simple elephant in the room? Do you guys think Germany have what it takes to get through in this group?
Yes,
they play
absolutely.
Costa Rica. They play Costa Rica, but it's not in their hands. 1 second.
They impressed me in the last 20 minutes when their back was against the wall.
But
that's when you see whether you've got skin in the game. And they showed that the players showed that they've got the balls to fight for their spot in this tournament, because it would have been very easy for them to wilt and lose that game today.
I think
they showed a bit of fight. So for me, I think they win. It's down like this Spain-Japan game is a horrible, like, for Spain, it's a horrible matchup. Do you know what I mean? A team that can do a low block defense and hit them quick on the counter. That's a horrible matchup for them, especially if they're playing Rodri at centre back. I'm not saying he's not a good tackler, a good dictator of play, but if you get this guy turned around, running at his own goal, that's not nice.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. As in, he can get around the pitch a lot better than he could a year ago. Shout to Pep's fitness team, because they've done magic with Rodri. I swear to God, the guy couldn't run when he first arrived, and now he's fucking like he's a fit guy now. So shouts to them. But I think Spain put Japan in the dirt. But like I say, it's a horrible matchup for Spain.
You know what it is? There's two reasons. The one that you said, where they can counter on and break them on with pace, but the other thing is the energy that Japan bring matches Spain's, which is the other, which is one of the harder things. Now, yes, Spain can get out of pressing situations, and they've got a lot of press resistance. But my only concern is because they're relying on two young midfielders to try and dictate the game. I'm not saying they're not good enough or they haven't got the mentality, but sometimes you can get too much. And do they have that extra gear to go when they're tired, when the stamina's down? Because it's the third game, don't forget, and they're playing it in quick succession, and it's a vital game for them as well.
That's great. Look, can I ask this one question to the group? And I think someone just mentioned something in the chat, so I feel it's like it triggered something in my head. Do you think that we're also getting from because maybe less so with Spain because they've got Enrique and he's really nailing that DNA, but Germany, when you look at when they were successful, Pep was in Germany. They just come off the back of Jupp Heynckes, in his Bayern Munich side. They'd had Klopp's Dortmund around that time era. They had generational. Well, they thought they were generational talent. Remember Hummels, Goetzes, these players that buy in a fight in to try and steal from their neighbors. Like that conveyor belt of talent. It's these players now. Listen, they're stealing a 16-year-old from Cobham and calling him the future of their country. That's wild. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's not, but I'm saying
you're rubbing it in.
But you get what I mean. It's like it's wild to me the way the quality
level.
Something
we didn't know. This is one thing. This is not something we didn't know, Jay. Before I go to throw it to Hamza, we knew going into this tournament that this is a mixture of 5 players from the title-winning side and the rest youth and inexperience. So it's a mixture of senior players and youth and experience. Usually that doesn't do too bad in a tournament. But Hamza, take it away.
I'll say, listen, Germany are a good side, man. I've always said it. There's 2 teams I don't trust England. Forget them. They're not winning anything. No point participating.
That's harsh.
No chance. Listen, let's not lie to ourselves. The England are going to win the World Cup. It's a joke.
Mo, I'm gonna go
Hamza, me and you finally agree on something, man.
Wait, listen, Mo, you're out on England?
Listen,
I don't, bro. Southgate, are you, bro?
Bye-bye.
It's a travesty to football if he wins something.
Listen, there's something called That's
Yeah,
called
Pablo,
football.
clip that.
Listen, that's called football heritage. In the World Cup, you need to have that. And why do Germany have that? Remember, there's standards there. The standards of Beckenbauer have set. Lothar Matthäus was there. Even in 2002, they had a joke team with Oliver Neuville. They went to the final. I don't doubt. They're the teams I don't doubt.
So
They
you
have a
think Germany could still get to the knockout rounds and advance?
yes, absolutely. And they start often slow. I don't trust them. In fact,
Big up
as a
Connor.
as a support Brazil, I'm scared of them. I prefer England because I know they're bottle jobs. They'll get sliced open. Don't worry about it. They're going home. In terms of Italy, I know them. These guys, when Italy won the World Cup, no one expected it. Grosso and all that. Yeah, no one expected it. No one expected it. Maldini had retired. He said, "I've given up," but they won the World Cup. See, Germany have a formula of the World Cup. In a 90-minute game, I said it to you yesterday, Carl. I said Spain is Man City. Spain, tiki taka, beautiful football, beautiful style, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous because there are teams there that will say, have the ball, but let me just catch you once. Look at Rudiger. If that header goes in, Spain panic. Spain have to panic. They're 1-0 down.
Yeah.
See, this is what Spain has. They have this beautiful football. They can go far, but they're naive. And
You
it's
know what?
happened to their club football. Barcelona have been knocked out with Frankfurt for their tiki-taka football last year. This year, they played Bayern Munich. They had tiki-taka football. They outpossessed Bayern Munich away. And guess what? They got knocked out at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
Hamza.
We're seeing
Let me
this.
let me just I want to try to finish off the video in a couple minutes. So we're just going to go to Mo, and then we're going to finish off with the predictions for the next round of games, and that's it. Not the next round, just the next 4 games, and that's it.
Mm.
Tomorrow's games. But Mo, did you have anything to say on Germany, Spain before we move on?
And I think my final thoughts is that I expect Spain to be in the towards the final of this tournament. I think the football they're playing and the way they've approached the tournament has been really good to watch. I'll be very shocked if Japan somehow end up causing an upset. I'll be honest. Germany, in my opinion, Hansi Flick, you got to do better, man. I don't think he selected a right balance of the team, and his team selections and tactics have been lackluster to say the least. And we'll see what they'll. I think they'll beat Costa Rica, but even then, I don't really have high hopes for them. So I don't know, man. Unless we see something different, I'm worried for Germany, man.
Yeah. Yo, by the way, yes, Pablo, you did miss a clip. Hamza said something crazy. He still thinks Germany can go far. But yeah, moving on to tomorrow's games. Let's just do some of these predictions for tomorrow games. We got the group with what is it? Brazil and Switzerland, and who's in that group? It's Serbia and Cameroon, right?
Mm.
So what are we saying? What are we saying for that group? Are we saying Cameroon, Serbia? I'm going for a Cameroon win, and Brazil, Switzerland. I'm going for a Brazil win. I'm thinking Cameroon's going to beat Serbia. It's going to be a tight game, 2-1 Cameroon. And then Brazil, Switzerland. I just think there's no team better than Brazil in this tournament. And they're going to do the same thing they did to Serbia, and they're going to beat them convincingly, either 2 or 3-0, Brazil versus Switzerland. So, yeah, I'll throw it over to you, Mojo. What are you saying with that group and those 2 games tomorrow?
And yeah, I think I'm gonna go with what you're saying. I didn't get to watch the first Serbia game, so like, is that the one they played against Brazil, if I'm correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it. Unfortunately, I just got to watch highlights, so I didn't really get to see their team performance. But at the moment, just based on the fact that obviously they're coming in from a loss, I expect them to give it a tough game. But I feel like Cameroon will more than likely come up top on this one, and unless Serbia do something like slightly different to try and see. From what I've heard, like the football they played is just not the type of football people were expecting them to play. So I'd like to think that maybe we'll see better football from them and therefore a better result. But eh, I'm more convinced by Cameroon at the moment. And Brazil and Switzerland, I can't lie, I think this is going to be an entertaining game. I think people are expecting it just to be a easy Brazil win. I think Switzerland shouldn't be underestimated themselves either. I think they play good football. They've got underrated players, in my opinion, and they can cause an upset. So I would keep an eye out for an upset potentially on this game. Maybe a draw, maybe a win for Switzerland, and but obviously Brazil are favorites.
Okay. And you don't do score predictions anymore.
Hmm?
Did you say your score predictions?
Or do you want me to say like what I think the results will be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I'm gonna go with 2-1 to Cameroon and 1-1 between Brazil and Switzerland.
There you go. Hamza, what are you saying?
Are you guys winding me up? Are you really joking about Serbia? You guys don't know. Listen, you don't know Serbia and Croatia are dangerous teams. That
I expect them to be.
they're
But
very
they've
good.
not shown me.
You guys don't understand. Like they'll beat Cameroon. There's no. I don't joke about that. Cameroon, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not going to sweet talk you or whatever. They're gonna get beat easy. They're too physical. They're too quick. They will play fantastic. They're gonna beat them 3-1. Listen,
Pablo.
I want Cameroon to win. I want Cameroon to. There is no doubt. No doubt. I am 100% sure Serbia are coming out this group.
You know,
Yeah.
the whole African community is gonna come after you.
Yeah,
Cameroon-
Yeah, come
but the
after
thing
him,
is, I'm not gonna lie like Eto. I'm not gonna lie like Eto and say, "Oh, we're winning the World Cup." Listen, I'm supporting Cameroon, but they're going out. Yeah, tomorrow they're packing their bags, they're going home because it's a worst. Listen, it's a worst draw. You can't play this Croatian and Serbian team. They're just physical and they'll close. And you will see tomorrow what I talk about athleticism, the style of football. They fight. They have the fighting spirit. Cameroon will lose that game 3-1. Yeah,
Okay.
and then comes to Brazil. It's a joke. Come on, man. Switzerland, are you really serious? I can't. You rescue them. Listen, they're losing that. So Brazil and Serbia are gonna go out of the group.
You can't rescue
You
them.
just crash it on your own player. That's crazy.
No. I'm saying Kakanji is not good enough to rescue because they're gonna be too good. Vinicius on the other wing, Rodrigo to come on. I'm scared of them. Brazil will do well, man. I've seen Brazil for a long time. Richarlison's gonna be top scorer in this World Cup, as I said before.
You know, yeah, real quick. Yeah, what up, Pablo? Hamza just said a mad one. He thinks. Do you guys think that's crazy to say Cameroon's absolutely not have no chance of beating Serbia? What do you think, Jay?
Who has no chance of beating Serbia? Cameroon.
What?
So what did you say? Sorry, I missed what you said.
No, because Hamza just literally gave a soliloquy on why they're gonna absolutely get battered. Cameroon. So are you
Cameroon are playing Serbia, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Serbia looked all right for the first 20, 30 minutes against Brazil. Well, when Brazil won, until R9 started taking it serious. So you know what I'm saying? Until R9 started showing Gabriel Jesus why he's getting splinters in his booty hole. Like, you look at me like I'm an idiot. Whenever someone criticizes an Arsenal player, you look at me like I'm fucking mildly retarded. What's wrong with you, Gal? Why are you looking at me like that? Small Jesus banter. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. So R9.
Because you are crazy. You called him R9, right? Bro.
R9, Richarlison, man. The pitching, you know. Yeah. Don't worry about that. So I'm just saying, right? Cameroon didn't show. In fact, my group chat thinks I'm anti-black because I was like, the African nations are embarrassing us, and everyone's like, oh, fucking Preeti Patel, you want them to put? I was like, no, I just because Nigeria.
You and Mojo are both in the same bracket for this one.
No,
which one?
I think because Nigeria aren't there, I automatically have a natural hesitancy to support other African countries. I don't know why people think.
By the way,
because Nigeria aren't there, I'm going to support other African countries.
Just to test how welcoming people were to this theory. After the Ghana game, I did a TikTok questioning should we feel disappointed in the performances from the African teams, and people are like, shut up, you can't.
Yeah, they're so black people are so defensive. I'm like, why are the Asian countries outperforming us? And they're like, you're anti-black, man. You're not.
It's not though. We've seen better performances from them.
Man. They were American. You know that's why.
Do you know what's crazy, Jay? We've seen better performances. We have seen better performances from Africa.
Wait.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. And as soon as I said that comment, the African countries started turning up. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like Inaki Williams.
There's so many talking points that we could talk about with that.
Yeah,
it could go on all day.
But but in terms of Cameroon, Serbia, I think the thing for me is the African countries, they need to show more spirit of adventure.
Morocco held it down. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Morocco was sick today. Yeah, Morocco was sick.
Yeah, they played
both ways, sick. I want to see more of that. Ghana only started playing the other night.
Talk about Ghana, South Korea.
Yeah,
What's your score
no.
prediction for that?
It depends. If Ghana want to win the game, they can win the game. They just need to go and try and win the game. Like they're just so scared of losing the game, they're not playing. And as soon as they were behind, they tried, and then the coach went into batshit crazy mode and took off Kudus, and then all of a sudden now you've got an IU. Is there like a contract that they have to have an IU on the pitch at all times? Because
Hey,
it's
Jordan
just mad.
Ayew is starting the next game. Jay, Jordan Ayew is starting the next game, bro. I'm telling you right now. If that happens, Ghana, it's been lovely knowing you, man. I
Why?
expect you to
Bro,
win.
he scored. The man scored.
Oh, it's true, man. It's true. But like, no, like honestly,
Listen,
I think so.
leave the guy alone. He scored. Jay, let me just say this
Andre
one thing.
Ayew, I have not as much
Let me
hate
just
towards.
say- let me
Jordan
just say this
Ayew,
one
I have a
thing.
problem.
Let me just say this one thing. Jordan Ayew is the one that scored. Am I wrong?
No, Andrew Ayew scored.
The other
Okay,
one.
Andre
The other
Ayew
one
scored.
scored.
They
Andre
all look
Ayew.
the same,
Andre
innit?
Ayew.
All
I
these
need to
IUs
ask-
look
I
the
need to
same,
ask.
isn't it, Gal?
I need to ask everybody: is there a problem with suing when your team is 3-2?
Yes.
Down?
Listen,
100%.
there's a huge problem with. Do you remember? Didn't Giroud do it? Didn't Giroud do it for you a couple of years ago after he scored a goal? Went and celebrated, and it was like you were level or something like that. I think if you don't go and grab the ball and you're losing 3-2 in a World Cup in your opening game, I don't think you should be allowed to start the next match. Do you know? I just think that that's kind of behavior that's just really, really negative, man. Like you hit
What
us,
about when
and was he
Harrison
hitting a
scored?
Sue because
I'm
he's
from
playing
Greece.
Ronaldo?
And he was celebrating
He's
like a
playing,
wild
he's
man.
playing
Like he scored the
Ronaldo,
winner.
so he hits the Sue.
I think I think tomorrow's game, South Korea Ghana, is going to be a test and to Ghana. Like South Korea, they're very athletic. They run around. They're very athletic, and I think Ghana have to be very careful with South Korea. Because South Korea has beaten and has knocked out big nation. Last World Cup was Germany. Couple of years ago, they do this. So African countries have to. The way to play South Korea and Japan, you have to be very physical. You have to be very. You have to play your physical game, because physicality is what you need to whip those crosses. You need to play on corners. You need to depend on free kick, whip those crosses, and you might win the game. But if they try and play on the floor, and they try and be dumb and leave holes behind, South Korea will punish them, like literally. And South Korea is a fantastic team, and the ethics that they have is athleticism and hard work. 11 players on the pitch. Big up to South Korea. And that's why I want to have African countries. When you're in front of goal and your colleague is next to you, and he has a better chance of scoring by 99%.
No,
and I've got
Africans want the
96.
glory, though, Hamza.
He wants to take
That's
the glory.
problem.
This is the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And things like Ghanaian was doing. He was trying to headbutt a player. Why would you do that? Why would you do that in the World Cup? Why would you do that? People are going to wind you up. South Korea are not going to do that. But the Spanish team, the Italian teams will do that.
Yeah.
So you see, this is when you need to be focused on the game and be part of a team to try and take your country to the top.
And Hamza, just to follow on your point, the Asian countries, we're seeing such a work ethic from the Asian countries on and off the ball, which is very, which when you couple it with the tactical ability and the technical ability that's improved in these countries over the last 4 years, now you're starting to see that synergy of tactics and that raw emotion, because they ain't done it before. These players are trying to create their memories, their legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big moment.
I honestly feel like you guys can clip this. I don't care. I feel Ghana are gonna get out of this group. I just have a feeling that Ghana are gonna have enough to beat Uruguay on the final day, and they're gonna get their revenge. Finally, they're gonna get their revenge, and it's just simply because of the pure emotion and memory of that situation that happened to them prior. That it's written in the stars for them to qualify out of this group facing Uruguay on the final match day. It's meant to be. It's destiny. So
And they're going to celebrate over Suarez.
It has to happen, man.
Portugal Uruguay game, it could even end as a draw, in my opinion, because Uruguay plays so defensive that they just try to get draws. So I could see the Portugal Uruguay game ending in a draw. I could see South Korea and Ghana ending in a Ghana win, and it will come down to that final match day. Uruguay and Ghana, and it will be decided by
Get your
by
popcorn's
Emotions.
ready, mate.
it will be decided by a Ghana win, and they'll get their revenge on Luis Suarez, and it'll be absolutely magical. And it will be, this will not only be for Ghana, this will be for the whole African nation. I mean, all the African nations. It will be
Well,
amazing.
listen, I get that. It's not going to make their jollof rice any better, but it'll be a good win for them. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate it, and it's going to be one of those. Then
What's your background, by the way?
I need to close some doors. Like, what the fuck?
Why is your door open? What the hell?
That's
Anyways,
not my door. This is my house. It's a
anyways,
nice house.
guys, last time I tried to do a soliloquy and I predicted something, it went horribly wrong. I
no,
predicted Germany to get to go to top the group, so they face Brazil in the second round of the knockouts.
Capo, why are you so negative, man?
It's
Capo's
unlikely now.
like, can some of these people know? Like, I'm taking a break from Spurs at the moment. I don't want to hear the negativity of 0 out of 10 performances. Good.
He's
Send him
preparing
home.
Why you're
himself, man.
defending Belgium
Some
so much?
rest so we can stop Arsenal winning the league.
No wonder
Good.
why you're defending Belgium so much. Anyways,
Send him home.
we're gonna-
Send all our players home. I need them back. Hey, Hamza, am I wrong? Don't you want you guys calling
Every
KDB?
day.
Barely any of my
Hamza
players
wants
play.
KDB to have 4 weeks rest.
Wait.
Jay,
This
Jay,
is a good segment.
Jay,
This is a good
Arsenal
segment.
have none
is a
of their
good
players
segment.
playing, and I've got every day. I've got my players playing every
My
day.
players
I'm
aren't playing
stressing.
every day. But the thing that I find strange, Mojo, I gotta call you out on this. Your Chelsea
What?
boys are putting in work in this World Cup, but they're not
Huh?
doing the same thing for their club. You got Hakim
Say that
Ziyech putting
again?
him man of the match performances. Pulisic
Saying,
putting him
you're
man of the
saying
match
that Chelsea players are
performances.
playing better for their countries than they are
Mason,
for Chelsea.
Mason Mount, Mason
Yeah,
Mount.
because when you leave a toxic environment like ours, you know what? This is what happens. It's been a very toxic relationship with these players, and I get it. I get why they're performing. To be fair, though, you have to think of it this way, right? The World Cup is a big stage, man. Like the players always will have motivation, bro. They could have been the crappiest of the crap, yeah. And literally, World Cup comes calling, bro. They'll get in the rhythm for it, man. And I'm not surprised, man. I always
My
said,
theory, they
Hmm.
down tools Hakim Ziyech and some of these guys. They focus on the World Cup.
So this is what's funny, right? Tuchel was saying this during preseason time, saying that some of these players, it's like their focus is already on the World Cup. They don't want to get injured. They don't want to go into tackles. They don't want to try as hard. Like what the World Cup has done is it's taken the focus away from the Premier League. And I'm like, I got his point then, but I didn't understand how bad it was until we got into the season. I saw some dire stuff, man. And I was like, yo,
you got a great point, and I think it got exacerbated. Like if you're in Arsenal, maybe it's easier because you're top of the league. You're like, okay, shit, let's focus, let's win. For the other players, like we've got Romero, Richarlison, these players, they had knocks, say week 9. These players are not breaking their back to come back before the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? These players are like, shit. Like I saw both of these players' reactions. They're crying because they think they're missing the World Cup. Both Richarlison and Romero, they think they're winning this World Cup. These guys don't want to miss a part of history. And from a human point of view, I do not begrudge the players this at all. If anything, it's the organizers' fault for organizing the World Cup to be in this situation and cause
100%.
the players to have to almost protect themselves because the authorities will not protect them. These players are not being protected by the authorities, and they need to regulate themselves. And that's what's happening here. Some of these players, whether we want to call it a sickie, whether we want to say abdicating responsibility, these players are protecting themselves because they have an opportunity. And for some of them, it's the last time they're ever going to have a chance to play in the World Cup. So,
and
I completely agree with you. I didn't realize how impactful it would be until I saw it with certain players. And like our team, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Son, Kane, Richarlison, all of these players are meant to be starring roles for their country. A number of these players, your Llorises and all that, they're captains. So I just think that when we look at these, the football that we're getting in the World Cup, I'm impressed. I think some people have been talking about the 0-0s, but I actually think it tells us that tactically, a lot of nations are improving. Technically, a lot of nations are improving. the gap between the best and the worst is closing. And that just makes for great football. I think the football games are better tactical games. Even the 0-0s, a number of them I've enjoyed from a tactical point of view. So I think once we've gotten past all the bullshit about once we got past all the bullshit about the perception of LGBT and bans and this, I think people can start to just enjoy this tournament for what it is and just enjoy how it's going to go. And I think it's been fun. I've enjoyed the tournament so far, and I think it's.
I've enjoyed the World Cup, but I just feel like it's absolutely disgraceful the way that they tried to sabotage it with all these political agendas and everything else. And
do you want to know what it is, Igal? Being brutally honest, it's white people and oppression. Being brutally honest, yeah. Because when there's a problem, I'm gonna go there. When there's a problem that affects white people, it's a problem for the world. It's a problem that everybody needs to talk about. It's a problem that everyone needs to tap in about. And when you talk about LGBT and things like that, it's something that affects white people. So because of that, it's something that's highly sensitized now to the Western mainstream media. If it was something that only affected black people or Asians, i.e. the building of the stadium, yeah? No, people don't really talk about the building of the stadium. Do you know what I mean? They don't really talk about it.
I think you're missing. I think you're missing the dog whistling for the Islamophobia.
I'm saying that's why it's happening.
But you know what? That's a conversation.
Hey, yeah, it's a detailed one for another day. I think the thing is that people wanna muddy the water now, and at the end of the day, 6 years ago, they gave the World Cup to this country, for better or for worse. And you made that decision then, and this is just background noise because certain people have different agendas. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean the noise isn't valid in certain instances, but you have to look at the energy of the people pushing it and why they're pushing it and what they stand to gain by pushing that narrative into the mainstream. That's the way I look at it.
Let's just move on. I feel like Mojo, if I throw it over to you, you're gonna have 100 things to say on this also. Yeah. Let's just end it off. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. This has been a great show. Hopefully now that we're gonna be going to 4 games at 2 time slots, it's not gonna be as hectic after Tuesday. But Monday's the last big show before we go into the smaller shows. But yeah, have yourselves a wonderful day, guys. You already know what it is. KDG on Egal Talks Football. Big up Mojo for coming on. Big up my guy Jay for coming on. Big up Hamza for coming on. And also, of course, Gunnar Souls for coming on. And everyone who's been watching the stream, shout out to you.
Always a pleasure, boys.
Go check out tomorrow's games, and hopefully you guys enjoy them too.